Good morning, hackers.
Raise the alarm!
Today we're doing the first episode of Lwyam, or Last Week You Asked Me, which is a weekly video I'm going to be doing where I answer your questions that you've posted on the forum. There's a link just down here somewhere. I think it's that way actually, that way. So yeah, jump on there, ask me any questions you want and I'll answer them in the next video. So let's go. First question from Davo Dinkum 88. What experience did you have before getting into cybersecurity? So before I got into cybersecurity, I was actually a network engineer first, and then a systems admin. And then I was going back to a network security engineer, and that was sort of like my first taste, I guess, in cybersecurity. So I did that for a little while. A couple of years, and then there was a opening at another organization in a SOC team as an analyst, and I sort of moved from that into this analyst position, which ended up being a sort of jack of all trades position, but that was fine because I had experience already as a network admin, network engineer, systems admin, systems engineer. I was doing some cloud migrations at the time, so yeah, I was all over it. I was really happy in that role. It was really fun. So yeah, that's sort of what I did before getting into cybersecurity, and it was pretty fun doing it that way. But these days it's a lot easier to sort of get into cybersecurity directly, whereas back then, I'm talking like at least 5 years ago now, like 6 or 7 years ago, that was like the way to do it. They just picked people who were already in IT positions and who were maybe interested in moving into cybersecurity. So they just moved a whole bunch of us across into these CyberSec teams. And yeah, that's sort of how it all sort of began. But now these days they actually recruit directly for cybersecurity engineers or professionals or whatever specialization you have. That's sort of what they recruit for. Next question is from Keenan Highwood. If you could go back to when you were first starting your career, what would you do differently with the knowledge you have now of this industry? If I had known that I could have studied a whole bunch of different cybersecurity certifications, which they were available back then, I just had no idea. I definitely would have done those certifications instead of like an MCSE and all of those sort of ones that now they don't really matter for me. I haven't even renewed it, and I don't know if it expires. Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. No idea. That's how much I have no idea about my Microsoft certs. However, I didn't pay for them. My boss at the time paid for them because he needed a certain amount of people with MCSEs or MCSAs to get different, I guess, partner rewards systems. So they wanted to be like platinum Microsoft partner, and they needed a certain amount of Microsoft certified technicians. So that's sort of why I got that. So then they could get bigger clients saying that they had all these Microsoft certified techs. But yeah, that's what I would change differently. I would focus more on cybersecurity rather than doing a whole bunch of random certifications. Like I did one in this cloud storage solution that doesn't even exist anymore. I can't even remember the name of it, but it was crap. I did another one in SolarWinds, which if you've ever used SolarWinds is like a group, like a suite of IT products, and they actually have certifications and they're completely useless. So don't bother doing those. Well, I don't think so anyway. But they probably don't even offer them anymore. They were so fucking mainstream. But yeah, that's what I would do. Focus on the cybersecurity certs that you want to sort of take to get into that end position that you want to be in. This one I wrote in here because the guy didn't ask the question in the forum. It's from Bibixski, And he asked, what is the difference between red team and penetration testing? The difference is a penetration tester or pen tester is in a red team. A red team is not really a title as such. It's more a title of a group. That's what I've seen anyway. They don't really say, okay, you're a red team and you're a pen tester. Usually if you're a pen tester, you're in the red team. Depending on, I guess pen testers can also be blue team. But yeah, I don't know. People don't really say like red team, blue team that often either. They usually just go by whatever title they're in and then by whatever unit they're in. So if they're, for example, in like a defensive security team, like a SOC, they're just going to say you're in a SOC. They're not going to say you're in the blue team. They'll just say you're in a security operations center. That's usually how it works. So blue team, red team is some sort of like Hollywood magic that somehow got thrown into IT. Sounds pretty cool. It reminds me of Red vs. Blue, which is a really old cartoon. I don't know if you guys were even born when that was around, but yeah. Next question from Jagarath or Jad, something like that. Are all Ubuntu flavors managed by Canonical? Yes, they are. Canonical, I guess, bought or manages Ubuntu. Some people don't like it. Some people don't care. Like myself, I couldn't care less. It's a good system. It's got really good support. I still love Ubuntu. It doesn't make any difference, really. It just got more support and, in the end, better features, I guess. So yeah, it's a good product, and I wouldn't bother sort of worrying that Canonical owns Ubuntu because it didn't make much of a difference. You can still customize everything as much as you want to. It's still as secure as every other Linux distro to whatever customizations you want. If you just want out of the box, easy to use Linux, Ubuntu is still, I reckon, hands down, the easiest one to get into. I used Ubuntu for a good year at work. And I had Office 365 Web, where I do all my documents there. All the documentation and, reporting and that fun stuff. And yeah, I had all my little tools that I had in my Kali box. I ported all of them, I think, onto my Ubuntu machine, which was good. And everything just worked. All the graphics worked out of the box. There was no messing around with anything. I literally just installed it and off I went. I put my emails on there, started using the browser. That was it. So the next question we have, I didn't write the person's name down, but I think his name was Sep03. Anyway, what's the best combination of cloud? For example, cloud plus governance, or cloud plus vulnerability management, or cloud plus incident response. Vuln management and incident response are sort of the same thing. It depends where you're going to get a job, I guess, and what they call it. But the role is fairly similar. I don't know what you mean by what's the best. Like, do you mean which one's going to make more money, or which one has a better prospect for the future? Which way? Look, cloud is always good to get into because it's going to be around for a little while. Governance is going to put you into eventually a more managers type position, and you're going to get stuck into risk and governance or risk and compliance meetings, which they can be very boring, but if that's sort of your thing, it's really good to get into. There is a lot of money in governance as well. Cloud and vulnerability management / incident response. I'll go with vuln management first, I guess. Yeah, they're pretty much the same thing. I can't split them up, but I guess if I had to choose a name for my title, if I wanted to write down my title, I would choose incident response. Just because it sounds more direct than vulnerability management. And in management, you're just sort of like the incident response team, I guess, would have already identified what the vulnerability is, and then they'll give it to a vulnerability management team, who then is going to give it back to the incident response team. And it's like the same thing. So it's just going to go around in circles, and eventually someone's going to have to do the job. It'll probably go down to a lower level technician who then won't be able to do it, and then he'll push it up to someone who can. And that's just pretty much how the world works. But yeah, I don't know, like governance makes a lot of money, vuln management and incident response also makes good money. They both have really good future prospects. Which one is the best combination? I don't know. It really depends on where you want to go with your study and your career. So which direction do you want to take? Do you want to take the governance route, or do you want to take the incident response route? Incident response is much more on the tools, so you're going to be on those tools all the time. Governance, you're going to have a lot of meetings, and you're going to be talking about the legal mumbo jumbo a lot more, and just sort of working through the job like that. Anyway, that's the last one of our last week you asked me. There's a link over here if you want to actually ask me a question, and I'll answer it next week. I'm doing a last week you asked me every single week, every Monday. So expect this video to come out every single Monday. And so get those questions coming in, and I'll answer them straight away for you. So anyway, guys, thanks for stopping by and watching this video. If you liked it, please don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one. Catch you later.